freaking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your round 3 recap for this week's Valero Texas Open. Joining me to break it all down, Greg DuCharme is here. Greg, hello, and we are officially back on track.
Back on track, yes. Finally have this is a real round 3 recap, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the first time all week, thanks to some fog on Thursday. So yeah, it's good to be in this position, and it was a full day of golf today. A lot of golf going on across the world today, and nice to be on track in Texas.
Yeah, we finished round 2 this morning and then completed the entirety of round 3. The name that has been on top of the leaderboard for what feels like an eternity, Greg, is Patrick Rodgers, and his name is still there. A 1 under 71 for P. Raj here on Saturday. A little sloppy bogey coming in there on 18, but he will hold a 1-shot lead heading into Sunday in hopes of getting his first career PGA Tour victory.
Yeah, Rick, we've had a lot of conversations about Patrick Rodgers in the past because he's such a good driver of the ball and a really nice putter as well. And that combination is, somewhat unique on the PGA Tour when those are your two strengths. But this week, he's just had an incredible iron play week. I mean, you look at what he's done so far. Through 2 rounds, he gained nearly 7 strokes approaching the green, which is 2 better than his best ever event on the PGA Tour. So it was really impressive stuff. Kind of came back down to earth today. This was a little bit more normal. And look, it's somewhat common for a leader, a 36-hole leader coming in on that Saturday round. You play kind of a little more conservative, and that's exactly what he did. But I thought he played some really nice golf. I really liked the tee shot he hit at 17. 18. Look, 18, he missed the tee shot to the right. It's better than where Kuchar hit it. I know we'll get to that, but that pitch out was really close to being really good, and the rough just gobbled it up. And this is the beauty of really long par 5s. Now your third shot is he's hitting a hybrid into the green. That's not a very common thing for Patrick Rodgers to be hitting a hybrid into the green for his third.
Some impromptu trivia. And if you were listening last night, you might have already been spoiled on this. But Patrick Rodgers had 11 wins at Stanford. There are 2 other Stanford Cardinal, that have tied those 11 victories. Do you want to take a shot at who they are?
One is Tiger.
That's the easy one. Yeah. I
don't know this one. My guess would be Maverick McNeely.
Ding, 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 ding. That is absolutely correct.
Good job, confidence. I said with confidence.
Yes, you just rammed that one right into the back of the cup. It is interesting, right? Is 18, is that nerves? Is that, going for it, going for your first career victory, to spray one out there, right? I mean, this is such an uncomfortable position to be in when you're trying to get it done for the first time. How do you expect Patrick Rodgers to come out on Sunday?
I heard, he just finished his round, so I haven't heard any comments after today's round, but yesterday, he sounded extremely confident, extremely comfortable. I think his swing looks to be in really good order. And I don't put too much into that bogey at 18. We saw plenty of players do much worse. The tee shot leaks a little bit more right than he wants. But it ends up in a position where he's got a really difficult layup. And look, that's why this is such a demanding golf course, tee to green, because a little miss can be a big penalty. And look, it's a 6 on a par 5 that's a little sloppy, but so much of it comes down to one shot, that tee shot. And I don't think it was that bad. I don't think that's a choke or anything like that. So, I feel pretty good about Patrick Rodgers going into tomorrow. I'm not circling his name all over the board here saying he's going to do this, because there's still the question, was what we saw in the first 2 rounds just an anomaly, or is he really feeling that good about his game right now. That's yet to be seen. But either way, I think if he puts together a round like this, like he did today, tomorrow, he'll be on the 18th hole with a chance.
Yeah, his metrics look good as well. So we'll see if he can just continue that going on for 18 more holes. His closest chaser is a man who has donned the cowboy boots here before in San Antonio. It's Corey Conners, one shot off the lead. It was a Saturday 69. Couple of sloppy moments. He made a double on 6. He made a bogey on 9 and a bogey on 16, but he was able to pile up enough birdies here and kind of get out of that. He was stuck in neutral a little bit after going really low in round 1, kind of breaks the seal a little bit and puts himself in great position to add another Valero Texas Open title to his resume.
Yeah, it was kind of a little sloppy. He's made 2 double bogeys this week, and he sits 1 shot off the lead. And he really, you could argue he should be tied for the lead. He had a really nice look at birdie at 18 that just slid by. But what I really like is how he's had this ability to kind of go on little mini heaters through the week. And today was a great example of that. Hit a great shot into 11. And then the shot into 12 was so cool. I mean, I know it's not that long of a shot. It's only 120 yards, but he hits it inside of 2 feet. So that was phenomenal. And then you go a couple of holes later, the shot that he hit into 14, hitting that green in 2 was wonderful. I had to make a longer putt than he would have hoped. But the shot into 15 was just exactly what Corey Conners does. And I look at his ball striking almost like a 3-point shooter who's not feeling it at the beginning of the game, but they just keep shooting, and all of a sudden they start going in. Right. And he just continues to pepper flag sticks. So, yeah, Corey Conners is probably the guy you're feeling the best about heading into tomorrow because of that capability with his ball striking.
I'm trying to think of anybody else whose first 2 wins on tour came at the same event.
Justin Thomas?
What, CJ Cup?
I think it was CIMB Classic in Malaysia.
Yeah. Okay. So let me check. Hold on. I see. Yes.
Maybe,
great. Wow. Unbelievable pool. Yeah. So
maybe Cam Champ.
November 2015 and October 2016 CIMB Classic number 1 and 2. Unbelievable pool. Let's check.
I'm proud of that one.
That's unbelievable. No, Cam Champ has never won the same event twice. So he won Sanderson, he won Safeway, and he won 3M.
Sam Burns
might be one as well. Yeah, that might be Valspar twice. No, he won Sanderson in between. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I couldn't think of any. The JT pool was great.
You know who might be one? Did Matt Every win back-to-back?
Yeah, he might have.
APIs.
Yeah, that might be.
That may be his only 2 wins.
I do wonder who has only 2 wins and have them be. Right. We'll have to wait a while to see if Corey Conners wins this one. And yeah, so Matt Every's only 2 career victories are the 2014 and 2015 Arnold Palmer Invitational.
Wow, I guess it was happening a lot back then.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure who else.
Good stuff. I don't know. We'll keep chewing on that one for a bit, but Corey Conners could add his name to that list on Sunday. Those 2 are starting to separate themselves a little bit, and we'll kind of talk about this later. I mean, there's kind of different tiers of this leaderboard where some of it feels out of reach. Matt Kuchar is going to be 3 off the lead, 2 shots off of Corey Conners. He is 9 under par, and Greg, this is a little bit disappointing, or a lot disappointing, because he got out of the gates beautifully. He birdied 3 of his first 4 holes. Then he made a double on that finishing hole on 18, which obviously 3 shots back he's still very much in this, but you could be going to bed on Saturday night if you're Matt Kuchar in a completely different state of this event.
Yeah, I mean, you could be in the lead, right? You think about what happened on 17, hit a beautiful tee shot. That's probably 3 feet to the left of being really close. If he hits it 3 feet farther right, it probably feeds a little straighter at the hole and ends up going down in that low little collection area on the green. And then the putt, he nearly holds the putt anyway. So that was a really close call. And then hits it into a trouble spot on the left-hand side, has to take an unplayable, and now he's hitting 3-wood for his unplayable, which is kind of a questionable decision out of that. I was a little hairy, don't you think?
Yeah, I think that's putting it nicely. I was like, he's not really gonna hit this, is he? Sure enough, Cooch is like all-time confident. He's like, I'm yanking this baby. Let's go.
I think there was one on Friday too that he hit out of a very strange lie with a fairway wood. He hit a hybrid chip shot from the rough, and he carried it on the green and rolled it up there really close yesterday. So he's hit some really cool shots this week. Nearly hold. What hole was that where he nearly holded it? Lipped out like crazy.
It had to be 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So early this morning. Yeah. So the par 3, 189 yards. So he hits it. The shot link has that 4 inches, but that does not do it justice because it was rolling right at the edge. It grabs the right side, loops all the way around, goes halfway down, and stays out for an ace.
Yeah, I mean, but this is the kind of thing. It's cool when Matt Kuchar's in contention because he hits a lot of fun. He hits fun shots for the most part, and he's smiling about it, and you get the feeling that he's just showing off, which is pretty cool. So I like the way he's gone about it this week. With his disadvantage when it comes to distance, he's just extremely skilled. He showed it at the match play last week. He showed it again here this week, and he did it here last year too, right? Tied second here last year, I believe. So even though that was a really disappointing finish, he's still looking really strong for tomorrow.
Yeah, he has a great track record around here. So a couple of items. The chat has come through with a couple more. KH Lee, his only 2 wins as of this point are Byron Nelson. Yeah. Boo Weekly, there's a pool. His first 2 wins were 07 and 08 Verizon Heritage. Okay, so good on you for the chat. But this would still be, I still believe, our only example of a guy whose first 2 wins were at the same event that weren't back-to-back, right? Everybody else went and defended.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It'd be like 4 years in between Corey Connors wins if he gets it done.
Right. So, yeah, and all those are defense. That's wild.
Yeah, so we'll continue to brainstorm those and see what else we can come up with. Now, this is kind of where we'll see on the other side what Vegas thinks about this, but I'll tell you what, they think this is a 3-horse race. Rodgers, Connors, Kuchar. You've got Sam Stevens and Chris Kirk at 8 under. You have a ton of guys at 7 under. Benny On, Sam Ryder, Potty Harrington, Lee Hodges, Augusto Nunez, Harry Higgs. So how far back is too far back here? What's this leaderboard is it's jammed, but the log jam might be too far behind.
Well, I think we were talking about this before we came on air, and Rodgers was still at 13, and it looked like Connors was going to go to 12.
Right.
So now that shot, I mean, a 5-shot lead is not too much to overcome.
We've seen that disintegrate.
Yeah. So, and again, you're in tied 6. If you're at 7 under par, you're tied 6. So I think that's still live. Is Hideki live at 6 under, being 6 back? That's probably where I would draw the line. I think that's if it weren't Hideki Matsuyama, I would say, even Andrew Putnam, who's having a really nice week, hitting the ball really well this week. I think that's probably too far back. Because again, you got 11 guys ahead of you. But if you look at the 7 unders, the question is, well, which one of them are playing well enough to really get this done? You look at a guy like Lee Hodges. He kind of was scrambling around today to shoot 3 under par and some really nice scrambling, but he's not really hitting the ball all that great. Augusto Nunez hit some really high quality shots today. Patrick Harrington got hot late. Doesn't seem like, just doesn't really pass the eye test.
You know who the guy is. You know who the guy is.
Yeah, it's Ben On.
No,
Sam Ryder.
Sam Ryder.
Look at what Ben On hit the ball great today. I'm telling you, Ben On left like 4 shots on the table with basic up and downs from the side of the green.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Yeah, that's the problem. But I'm looking at his round saying this should have been He should have shot 8 under today.
Yeah, you're right. I'm actually
Easily.
both of these stat profiles are pretty good. So Ben is first off the tee and 8th on approach for the week, and he's 40th around the green and 58th with the putter. Sam Ryder is 7th on approach, 13th in putting. That's what he does. He's a great second shot player. He's a great putter. And when those two come together, you can go really low. That's why I like that combination. But you're right. Benion's not going to cover off the ball.
And I think Ben-On's been playing better lately. Sam Ryder's ball striking has been, it hasn't really caught my attention.
No, but he's still finishing well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And he has that capability. We've seen him do some really incredible things in some great moments. I liked his round today. I did. But I just look at Ben-On. I'm just shaking my head. I can't believe he shot 4 under. I can't believe he shot 4 under today. Looking at some of these, bozo bogeys that he made. So that's why, they were there. I mean, it's like you're on the edge of the green. You're these basic chips that you just have to get up and down, and it was 4 of them. So I think, I don't know. One of those two guys. I'll leave it at that.
I like both of those. If anybody from the 7s is going to make a run into those two, let me hit a couple notables real quick. You mentioned him, Hideki Matsuyama, dude. I have no idea from shot to shot what we will get from Hideki Matsuyama. So I will just tell you, it was a Saturday 68. He goes out in 32. He makes another birdie on number 4. He started on the back 9. The only blemish on his card came on his final hole of the day, which was number 9. And of course, we're getting the Decky juice, one week before we go back to Augusta National.
Yeah. Look, the hard thing, this is the hard thing about Hideki. I loved what I saw. He hit some sweet shots today. I mean, some really special shots on 14, 15. 16 was a great shot too, but the one on 15 was just,
you're talking about 205, the approach shot, 205 to 12 feet. Yeah. And then he rolls it in. Yeah.
It was just so good. And, so I know that Hideki has that capability, but I'm worried about his neck. I mean, this is a day-to-day kind of a thing. I mean, we saw him at the match play. Who was he? I forget who he was playing in the match before he withdraws from Homa, but he striped it. He played great. And then the next day he can't go. He's been wearing the patch on his neck. And necks can be very finicky. And it can be how you sleep one night, right? So I just have so many questions with Hideki, and it doesn't even matter to me if he wins tomorrow, because it's not going to answer my real question, which is this a chronic neck issue?
Yeah, the real question we need the answer to is, how are you going to feel all 4 days next week? I don't think we're going to get the answer to that.
Yeah, it's like a Tiger scenario. Right, which is just too bad, because I really think he's in rather good form.
Necks can be very finicky should be the title of this podcast episode.
They can't. I'm telling you.
No, you're right.
It's there are a couple of injury areas that are really like high alert, re-injury prone areas: neck, wrist, back. You deal with necks, wrists, and backs, and it's very concerning.
I agree with you. We are going to look at the odds. However, before we jump over there, I would like to chat about the Augusta National Women's Amateur. Example, 9 million, that winning golf tournaments is hard, no matter who you are, where you are, anything else, because Rose Zhang, who was handed this trophy by me and plenty of others a couple of days ago, struggled at Augusta National today. It was a round of 76, which got her into a playoff, Greg. And now all bets are off. Jenny Bay, Rose Zhang in a playoff. All bets are off. All the hard work that you've put in this week, going 66, 65, doesn't matter. You are like, your opponent is right in front of you.
this is there are a couple wild things about this. One, why did everybody give her the trophy going in? Well, she is one of the best amateur female golfers of all time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, kind of in like a Lorena Ochoa category. So absolute standout. She's checked every box except for this one. And she has a 5-shot lead. And the lead that she has over Andrea Lignell is 5, and it's 6 over Jenny. And then after that, it's nobody's going to touch her after that. Right. So you have a 3-horse race, and the other 2 competitors have played a combined 1 round at Augusta National. You make it 3 with the practice rounds. And Jenny Bay last year, they couldn't play the practice round. And she missed the cut anyway. So she's got just the practice round. Lignell has just the practice round. It's 2. So no experience behind you. And you've played it, 4? This was her 4th time playing this event?
Yes, she actually got into this, she got into the U.S. Women's Open at 16, but this is now the 4th time she has played the Augusta National Women's App.
Yeah, so everything is lining up as, okay, nobody's going to catch her. And then she makes double at 1.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, well, you know, it doesn't really matter. This is now her against the golf course. And it felt that way all day. This was I watched a lot of this tournament, and it was like, I don't know why I put myself through it other than the fact that it's Augusta National. It was so painful.
It was.
You could just feel the anxiety. Nobody's really charging because it was such a difficult day. It's not taken away from their abilities. It's just a challenging day. And it's this slow, grueling train wreck that lasted 18 holes.
Yeah, and there was a weather delay, right? So it
for
felt
3 hours.
Yeah, so it wasn't like a 4-hour train wreck. It was like an 8-hour train wreck.
No, she did play a little better after the delay. The delay was probably the reason why she won, honestly. And then she gets it's not, you don't want to win this way, but it's a fortunate break in the playoff that Jenny kind of airmails the green a little long and left, and isn't able to really give a good run at that point. So look, this was a crazy way to win, but I heard her say after, it's over. And I felt the same way.
Yeah, we were all thinking it. Jenny Bay on 10 gets into a tough spot behind that green, and Rose Zhang makes a par and wins it on the second playoff hole. She adds to an already illustrious amateur resume. She won the NCAAs. She's won the U.S. Women's Amateur, the U.S. Girls Junior. She's been on the Junior Ryder Cup team and Solheim Cup teams and winners. I mean, it's just like, anything that you could accomplish as an amateur, she has done. So
9 wins at Stanford, right? Yeah. She has the tied most for anyone in that out of that program. It's just incredible.
Incredible stuff. Congratulations, Rose. Job well done. Let's continue this conversation. We've got a little live to talk about, and we'll look at the odds board. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
Bring on the roars. Major style prize. Oh, yes.
And we're back. Greg, I see it happening right now. Brooks Koepka has played 2 rounds at a golf course in Orlando, and he is 3 shots clear of everybody else at LIV Golf this week. And that Masters number is already coming down. People have seen enough. They've seen enough from Brooks.
Yeah, well, it's 65, I believe he shot, at least in one of the rounds. Look, with all the action going on today, I didn't get a chance to see a whole lot of this. But we know what Brooks Koepka is. He's an experienced player. And, you know, I don't know if this golf course is really a great litmus test for, you know, what kind of shape your game really is in, but going out there and shooting 65 and playing like that definitely gives Brooks as a player a lot of confidence. what we saw in the Netflix series was a guy that was really lacking in confidence. And going out there and playing that way could be exactly what he needs heading into a Masters. That is going to be rather interesting to see. I can't wait to see how these guys do. I have a feeling a couple of them are going to hold up fine. I think they could still play golf. I don't think just because they went to LIV Golf, their games have completely abandoned them. But I'm not sure if the amount of golf they've played or the golf courses that they've played are the best way to really prepare. So that'll be an interesting storyline for next week.
Brooks Koepka 12 under with a round to go. Munoz is 9 under. Mito Pereira 8 under. A couple notables. Patrick Reed 8 under. I'm just kind of scrolling through the list here. Dustin Johnson 5 under. That's tied for 14th. Cam Smith also there as well. Joaquin Niemann, Taylor Gooch, Harold Varner III tied for 20th. Bryson DeChambeau 27th. I'm still scrolling. I'm looking for Phil Mickelson. Bubba Watson 41st. Phil 46th of 48. Sergio Garcia 47th of 48. So
yeah,
stuff throughout the board.
Yeah, we've been seeing that kind of stuff for a while now. But I think it's safe to assume that, your DJ and your Cam, your Brooks or Patrick Reed, you'll have a couple of them who are sharp. They're just talented enough to make a run. They have enough experience on the golf course, which I think is a big deal. Even though they may not be, coming in mid-season form the way the Rorys and Rahms and Schefflers may be, I think their golf course knowledge can keep them, somewhat involved in the event.
Let us turn back to the odds board. And as I mentioned earlier a little bit here, Greg, for the Valero Texas Open, the guys over at Caesar Sportsbook believe that this is kind of a 3-horse race. So as of right now, it is not Patrick Rodgers who is the favorite. It's Corey Connors, one shot back at plus 190. Patrick Rodgers at plus 200. Matt Kuchar plus 625. Then everybody else is at least 12 to 1. The only other golfer who is below 20 to 1 is Chris Kirk. So that's only 4 under 20. Then you get that cast of characters that we talked about: Sam Stevens, Benny On, Sam Ryder and Benny On are 40 to 1 each. Hideki's 55 to 1. Like, how much chaos do we want to invest in on a Saturday night?
Man, I really think with only a 5-shot lead and only 5 players ahead of you, I think the Ben On Sam Ryder thing may be worth a sprinkle, if you will, because I do think it's possible. And I think those guys, aside from Connors, Rodgers, Kuchar, are probably playing the best. I'm interested in Chris Kirk. He's Chris Kirk in his 3 non-designated events of 2023, excuse me. They've been all top 3s.
Yeah.
Tied third, win. He hasn't done it the way that he's been doing it though. Like his iron play has been pretty poor the last couple of days. He's scrambled really well. He's made some really nice putts, keeping himself in it. But I think he's a better ball striker than he's shown. So that would be kind of against the grain, against the model, which I don't like to do very often. But for a guy like Chris Kirk, whose fingerprint, if you will, is much better tee to green than we've been getting, I'm not afraid of going that way.
I don't disagree with that. He's been playing great. And I think that Chris Kirk and Matt Kuchar have basically been tied at the hip all week long in terms of like odds and sentiment and stuff like that. Matt Kuchar might have just gotten you like a couple extra points by making a bogey or a double bogey on 18. He's still very much in the mix at plus 625. So I think if it was me tonight and I had nothing else invested in and I wanted to fire a couple of bullets, I think Kuchar's interesting, and I would try to find a Sam Ryder ceiling round at 40 to 1. Yeah,
I may go Benny On. So you go Ryder and Kuchar. I go Kirk and On.
I bet one of us finds one of those guys might win this thing.
Yeah, Yeah, then maybe Connors and Rodgers, throw them in there too.
Also, just in case, Sam Stevens and Patty Harrington.
Yes. And look, I wouldn't be afraid of Hideki Matsuyama down there either.
Listen, anybody can win this golf tournament. It's wide open.
I really do think that the way that this tournament ended with the Rodgers bogey and the Corey Connors missed birdie putt, I think that really opened the door where, while they're playing the 18th hole, I was thinking, Kirk's the last guy with a chance, and one shot changes the entire perception.
I agree with you. No, I think that was a pretty big sequence that we saw on the final hole of the day. Well, I'll tell you what, Greg, this time tomorrow, approximately, we will have a champion at the Texas Open, and we will flip the switch and do the greatest thing in our world, which is turn our attention to the Masters. And we are probably less than 24 hours away from that.
Do you think our winner gets into the Masters, or do you think our winner is already in the Masters?
Is Kuchar already in? No, he's not.
No.
So basically, is it Corey Connors, Chris Kirk, or the field?
Yeah.
Is Sam Ryder in?
I don't think
he is.
So.
Really?
Did he win? What's his world golf ranking?
2023 Masters qualifiers. Here we go. I'll just look right
now. I should have known that answer before asking.
I looked it up yesterday, and I still don't know the answer. He is not in. Yeah,
so you're looking at Kirk, you're looking at Connors,
or the field.
Or,
I mean, there are other players and Hideki, obviously. So I get
right.
Hideki, Connors, Kirk, or the field. I will take the field.
I think that's the right play.
Yeah, because that gives me Rodgers, Kuchar, Stevens, Benyon, Sam Ryder, Harrington, everybody else.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna get. We might get a new Masters invitee this week, which is always a really cool story.
Now, do they overnight that? They got to get it to him quick. Do they overnight that to him, or does somebody just hand deliver it, or does he just pick it up when he gets to Augusta National?
Yeah, maybe he picks it. Maybe it's a phone call. You can pick up your official invitation at the gate.
We'll have it. Yeah, security will have it for you at the gate.
Surprisingly, I've never been in that situation.
There's still time. We'll find out.
Yeah, you never know.
Getting the official Masters invite on short notice. That's something that we'll have to see if we can get at some point in our lives. Okay. Thank you very much, Greg. Much appreciated. Also, big thanks to producer Josh, does all the hard work behind the scenes. You can find Greg on Twitter at TheRealGFD, and you can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.